folks. Welcome to another episode of Repeater, the podcast where we talk to people about songs that they frickin' love. And if you like songs, you're gonna frickin' love this. My name is Evan Barden, and with me is Pat Cartelli. Pat, say hello.
Thank you for that intro, Evan. I'm glad that you're telling me off recording to not laugh. Now you're introducing me. It's
Dude, I'm really trying to set you up and I want to present you. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I would have dressed nicer if I knew.
You're fine. T-shirts are in.
Cool. Good.
T-shirts. I don't think they're ever out, frankly. Pat, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy it's starting to get a little warmer in New York.
Yes.
So, yeah. How about you?
I'm good. I got a little bev here. I got a weird bev. This actually is a little bit of a throwback to some old days between me and Pat. Pat and I used to live together famously, as we have mentioned historically on the podcast, but it probably hasn't come up in a minute. We spent 7 years of our lives together, and I think maybe us not living together anymore, it was like a sad thing, Pat, but probably the biggest sign that we've grown as people in our lives is that we no longer live together.
Yeah, I think it was a mature step in our relationship. You kept the bottle of whatever honey liqueur that was in our
so that's
freezer.
What this is. So this is honey liqueur with apple cider vinegar and seltzer water. I don't think it's a real drink. It's good though. I guess.
I'm sure we can come up with a name for it. Maybe the silent laughter as a segue to the third person who is here.
Dude, I don't want to introduce him.
Oh.
No. Let's introduce everybody to our guest for the evening. This is Amir Khan. Amir, what's up?
Dude, hell yes. It's freaking time to pop our little cheeks off. I'm hyped. I got a name for you. It's a honey liqueur. I host a podcast that has the word honey in it. Mm-hmm. Make it the official drink of my podcast, dude.
Ooh. So this is the Honey Baby Sweetie Love?
I guess so. Immediately plugging myself immediately.
That is the name of Amir's podcast. It's a beautiful, beautiful podcast about romance and
in the very beginning, right before we recorded, Evan was like, "You'll plug at the very end." My brain is like, "I'll plug immediately."
We can just lift this as an ad for your show.
You just put it at we'll bump it on my show too. Just bump this shit everywhere, dude.
Bump it everywhere. Yeah. I think, so we can see immediately, the audience is aware. Amir, you are a bad boy. That much is clear.
Well, I'm a bad bitch, and a lot of people like to say that about me.
Yeah. Kind of your reputation, I think, lately.
Yeah. I'm a mean guy. I do mean things to a lot of nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Thank you.
True. But, we're thrilled to have you on the show, genuinely. I remember the first time I met you, I was like, this dude listens to music. So I figured it was like a good fit, you know?
Yeah, truly, when I met you, I truly asked you, you're like a music guy, right?
I do kind of recall this conversation.
Yeah, we were at that deli.
Because I think my read, but yeah, I was like, yeah, you're probably a music guy too. I don't know what's that about.
I don't know. It's a type of person, and you can actually spot them out. Just kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I think maybe the fucked up thing about it is it kind of assumes other people don't listen to music, which is
yeah.
It means there's a bunch of people out there that you're just like, yeah, I don't know. I guess you probably like music, but not really.
Yeah,
but there are people that just actively just don't like music or just background noise. It's not like, I'm going to seek this out.
Yeah, they're like the people who downloaded music off like Napster that's like track 3 by Metallica. And it's like, that's good enough for me. Just stick with that.
I love track 3, dude. Have you heard it?
It's like untitled song, and they're just like, all right, it's good enough. Whatever, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. It's on their running or like lifting playlists or something.
Yeah.
Historically we are open to all kinds of music fans. That's we try to be a judgment-free zone, much like Planet Fitness. But it is nice to talk to a straight up music guy, you know?
Yes. We were in a Slack together where we were the only, with like 6 other people, and me and you were the only people who ever dropped music in that Slack.
That is true. We tried to get Amir and I tried to get a music Slack going once with a bunch of other people, and no one played. Unfortunate. But we like to kick off, speaking of music, the whole pod's going to be speaking of music, but we like to kick off kind of, suggesting, shouting out something that we've been listening to recently. Pat, what's been on your earbuds?
I have been listening to this band called The Armed a lot.
Okay.
Dude, that's my suggestion for the week.
Okay,
nice.
This is huge.
This is crazy.
Pat,
right, I'm going to try to pick, I'm going to see if I can pick the song that you weren't going to pick.
No. Try to pick the same one. Try to pick the same song, dude.
Oh yeah, pick it based off what what I brought in this week. Based off that, what do I like?
And I just got to tell people on the video, Amir had a really big physical reaction to Pat saying The Arm. So this is like exciting for podcasts. A lot more movement already than a normal pod.
This is our fitness episode too. Yeah. So The Armed have a new album coming out next week called Ultra Pop, and I love the whole vibe of it. They just released a song called An Iteration, and
excellent.
It's really great. And I know for people that listen on the show, you know that historically my music recommendations can be all over the place. Give this song, like, if you can get past the first 30 seconds, because it starts off real intense, it like falls into such a chill, high energy vibe. And I don't know how to describe it any better than that. It's like really fast. It's really intense, but it feels almost like dream poppy. It feels very shoegazy. Highly recommend. They're a bunch of menaces. They're a bunch of weirdos. Don't know anything about them, but it's great. I love it.
Very cool. Amir, was that the same song?
It was. I was just gonna say overall, like the songs from the Ultra Pop album they've been releasing are so fucking good, and they've been releasing these videos with them too that are just like. Did you see the Iteration video yet?
Yeah,
dude, it is so fucking cool. And just like every video they're dropping with it is fucking insane. So fucking like it's like violent visuals almost, but without the violence. It's just so cool.
Yeah, the Average Death music video is one of the most beautiful and perplexing things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like those like it almost looks like an ad for like a Squarespace, where it's like a solid color background with like a strange person in the foreground. So it's like a solid green background that's just like a bodybuilder like eating a hot dog or something. I forget exactly the specifics are, but it's just like interesting people against solid color backgrounds, really.
Damn. Well, this is very cool because Pat, I could be wrong. I think this is a repeater first to have 2 of the same shout outs in the top of the episode.
I'm so happy about this, especially for it to be like heavy music. Like, very excited about that.
Yeah.
Or a couple of rockers.
There's a couple of rockers. I definitely picked something in a really similar vein. I woke up the other day and was just thinking about TLC. and no joke, like started my morning listening to TLC and finished my night listening to TLC that day. So I want to shout out the 1994 song Digging on You by TLC from the album Crazy Sexy Cool. That's the song that I'm thinking about. It's pretty cool. It's got like kind of if you're not familiar with it, if you're not a big second album TLC fan, that album had some hits. It had Creep and Waterfalls, which are pretty famous. And Digging on You's got a nice little, almost like a soft jazz sax at the beginning. It's pretty cool. Kind of a sexy song. So I don't know if
you J-O'd that yet?
Did I what?
Did you J-O to that yet? You said it was nice and sexy.
No, it is sexy. It is sexy, nice. But it's kind of like about another person. So it's like it's more like bumping material than J-O-ing material. You know what I mean?
Bumping and grinding.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. So yeah, I'm glad to be in the club with the hard music with you guys. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. And I feel like I'm one of the dudes. You know.
That's what this show is, right? It's like a dudes club. Is that what you were telling me before we started recording?
Yeah, we're trying to make it. That's why we always look for music guys on the street, and we fucking chase them down and ask if they'll do our pod, and they always shout yes at us.
The guy's an interesting hat. We have to chase him down.
If you're wearing a band t-shirt in New York, look out.
Doesn't matter
We're
what
out
band
there.
you're
We're
getting
looking
asked.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
If
doesn't
you have
matter.
an NPR tote. Like,
Yeah, you're done.
Nobody's safe.
WFMU? Are you kidding me?
Forget
dude?
about
We're gonna kick your ass into being on our show. I know you have records. But yeah. Okay. Well, so those are some great current music recommendations from all three of us that people can go out and listen to. But I do think The Armed is a pretty good lead in, right? To Amir. What song did you bring us today?
I brought you Underwater Bimbos from Outer Space by Every Time I Die. It fucking whips ass.
yes. It's truly one of the best song titles, I think, ever. Underwater Bimbos from Outer Space. And I guess if you're not like somebody who's into this general vibe of music, Every Time I Die probably sounds like a pretty intense band name as well. So there's like a lot going for them just in terms of words before you've ever even heard the song. You know
to be fair, the words fit kind of. It's like they sound extreme. It's like, well, the song's extreme, so it's not like you're getting like a bait and switch here. You're not gonna get like Elliott Smith or something off of this.
It's not like twee pop from 2007 or anything.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, this song whips, and
it nays.
And it nays.
Mm-hmm.
It shreds pretty hard. Why this song? Why'd you pick this?
Sure. Of all of Every Time I Die, I've been like a huge fan. They're like the first really heavy band I was into, and they've consistently put out records that I'm just like, this one whips ass, this one whips ass. They haven't put out a record that I really haven't liked yet. And I think of all their songs, this one, I think one captures the essence of the band the most. Like, and it's like, I think like my favorite pump up song. And just the band in general. I think I told you earlier, but I've seen this band more than I've seen any other band live. I've seen them like 5 or 6 times.
Nice.
Fun for me, I guess.
Oh yeah, that rules. This song is the opener, right, on an album. What's the name of the album?
X Lives.
X Lives. And it is a hell of an opener. Like, I get that, just the idea that it's your pump up song. It works very well.
Yeah, it's the first lyrics are "I want to be dead with my friends."
Dude, I have to be like, I was into it, but also cracking up that these were the first lyrics. And especially, okay, so I've like heard the band before, but I've never been a fan.
Sure.
In terms of like just absorption, not like I disliked them.
Yeah.
But I think if you've never heard a band called Every Time I Die, and the first lyric you hear is "I want to be dead with my friends," you're gonna probably think that they only do like one thing, and that's not true. I just want to clear the air. They talk more about than just like being dead.
Yeah, they don't only have like these weird nihilistic songs. I think that's a cool thing about them though. On every album, it's kind of like they're a good band with like, as far as like they kind of go with current popular trends in heavy music, but they don't like completely sell out their sound, which you see a lot of bands do. So I think they like are like taking in influences and stuff, but they don't. They don't sell it out where it's like, this doesn't sound like an Every Time I Die record. It still sounds heavy, and it's like the riffs are still fucking crazy and like crazy timing and stuff. So yeah, I think it's just they're cool that way.
Yeah, they also seem to kind of like not take themselves too seriously in a very fun, enjoyable way.
They're extremely funny, and that's so much fun for like, because especially like with a heavy band where it's like these people take themselves so fucking serious, and it's like you look like bands like Emperor and like Gorgoroth, and like they're just completely, like with this what's it called, Death Paint and shit like that.
Yeah,
just
these bands. Definitely when I was first ever like just saw their marketing or anything would have been, like probably when they first came out, and I just like lumped them into this category of like other heavy bands that did. Yeah, like I was like, I don't want to hear you just truly scream feelings. And now I've been like listening to a bunch of their music this week, and it's so playful and like so genuinely kind of like fun, but obviously also like while expressing shit that's real. It's very cool. I like it.
Yeah, because I think it's something interesting with hard or heavy music where, there is sort of that tough guy crowd vibe that you get from a lot. But, the first album I listened to from them was Hot Damn. Like, that's just a great That's a great album title. And I think the
It
first
really is.
song on there, yeah, it's Romeo a Go-Go. Like,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And just for people out there that have not heard this band, I think Every Time I Die very much alludes to that corpse paint, like we're a black death metal or a black metal, death metal, extreme. They're more like, they fall to me into more of like, if like Southern rock, but like amped up to like hardcore.
Totally.
Which I don't know that that helps if you've never listened to heavy music before, but it's not, you're going to be able to understand the lyrics to a degree. So that's something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't expect to understand so many words, and I did, and which was cool. Yeah, I mean, the song itself is pretty cool. I was trying to look up like maybe, you know, what it's about beyond like these kind of like interestingly shocking lyrics, and it almost seems to be it's kind of like about like sticking to your guns artistically as you go through life almost, right? It's actually pretty legit, like it's like very interesting. I mean, like especially as creative folks, you know.
Totally. Yeah. I was also this week on that search too. I was like, I like this song. I've always wondered what it's about. Let me go on genius.com and just
Thank you, Genius.
See what the people are saying. Yeah, and I got that from the lyrics too, where it's just like, it is like a cool thing because you see it, especially like because we're comedy guys too, on top of music guys. Or it's just,
which you could also spot us on the street as comedy guys.
That's a certain worst part about it.
Certain amount of overlap between comedy guys and music guys.
Where it is, you see like people kind of even giving like you see really interesting comedians kind of like become less interesting as they get more popular, and you can even see it with people that we kind of came up with, kind of where it's like, we came up and you're doing really cool shit, and now you're doing this. That kind of sucks. So I just think overall, I'm very much like one of those people where it's just like, I'd rather do something interesting creatively than try to appeal, kind of thing.
Yeah, and these guys have, like you said, right? They adapt as the genre changes, but they stay true to themselves, which seems to be kind of like that. I don't know. It's that real. That's like what artists strive for, right? Is to like stay current, but be like have your own voice, and that shit is hard to do.
Totally.
Yeah. I think it's like the second verse, right, is something like when iron sharpens the iron.
Yeah.
Which is like also, it's like the most badass way to be like, yeah, like collaborate with other artistic people and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like such a great pump up lyric too. Like out of album openers, it is one of my favorites. Because it tells you what you need to know about the next however many tracks. Like you're in for a ride and you better hold on.
Yeah, especially Pat, it seems like you listen to them.
Yeah.
A general fair amount. Yeah. So like I think this is like their album that's just like the fastest and hardest. Like they have like the song structures aren't necessarily the greatest on this, in my opinion, of all their albums, but I do think this album is like the hardest and the fastest, and I think lends more to like the hardcore punk kind of vibe of like this album, I guess. Because there's like you were saying, like the Southern rock thing, it kind of like, to me it sounds like the Big Dirty, that album was just like super Southern rock, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like all those bands were kind of like doing like a Southern rock thing, and I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of cool, huh? And they did it, and it wasn't like corny or like they were ripping off like every other band that was doing like the Southern rock hardcore shit.
Yeah, they're very good at like moving around through different genres and like leaning one way or the other. But yeah, I hadn't listened to the song, not like in forever, but it had been a while, and I just like the riffs on it are so solid. And like I feel like, if I remember correctly, the song feels like it goes through like almost 3 different phases, and in each phase I'm like, oh, this is my favorite part. No, I think I like this. And then I get to, actually really I like that too. It's all great.
Yeah. I fully fucking agree.
For my benefit, I don't know if like it's I'm curious to if you guys would talk about a little bit like maybe some of the changes they've some of the changes they've made, because like I listened this week, I would say I listened to like 4 of their albums, right? And to my ears, I can't super tell the difference between the albums, and I mean like I can tell the difference between the fucking songs and stuff, but like I know they're not just one long song, but I don't really like know where I don't know where those like subgenres kind of begin and end. And literally when you say Southern rock Southern music. I'm like so Leonard Skinner. They're channeling like I don't know. I don't know what that is. And I'm sure some of the people listening don't know either. And so I'm just let's needle in a little bit on that stuff.
Yeah, so like for example, I think the one that sticks to me is like the Big Dirty as like the most off genre, even though it still sounds like them. But it's like when I say like their Southern one, there's like it kind of just it kind of does pull from like imagine if Leonard Skinner was made by hardcore guys, you know what I mean? Instead of like old racist guys.
Allegedly, dude.
Allegedly. Yeah, like there's like they use cowbells and just like
got it.
They have like their breakdowns lend to like if you don't listen to heavy music, a breakdown's kind of like the most hard part of the song. Lend to like they sound like you're just about to have like a hoedown or something. Well, like a hard.
Now
like
that you say that, I do remember hearing cowbell on a couple songs and thinking, I was like, that's cool. I don't normally hear that in this genre of music, but I didn't think it was like, I don't know. I didn't think it was necessarily like a style unto its own. I was just like, oh, interesting choice, this band.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's something you can like hear also in the guitar solos. Like I feel like, and yeah, maybe it takes some listening to actually get to that point.
Yeah,
like, heavy metal guitar solos might be in one like crazy kind of scale that's a little more intricate, but
kind of like meatily. Like
and like this.
That was epic.
In this, you'll hear probably more something that's a little more rooted in like a blues scale.
Sure.
Totally.
That checks out.
And then like this album that we're talking about, Underwater Bimbos, it's like I assume hardcore punk. Like totally.
I know that probably the best out of any hardcore genre.
Okay, totally. So this is like a lot faster. It's like kind of like Cro-Maggy kind of, but it's not like it's like the speed is kind of the main thing with it, kind of like early Bad Brain speed and stuff like that. But it's like still rooted in like their original genre, which is like heavy hardcore, really, which is like speed as opposed to like metalcore or something like that. Yeah.
What do you think the hallmarks are? Like, where is this genre, generally speaking, like in 2021, 2020? Like what's like in right now? Do you have any idea?
I don't. Listen to these bands' current like this like era of music.
I don't know.
Like
I'm just curious.
I have no fucking idea. But I feel like kind of like what the Armed is doing feels kind of like modern. Like it feels like 2021 like heavy hardcore stuff like that, where it's like kind of noisy, and it kind of has like a little bit more melody. It feels like, and they're trying to. It seems like they're trying to do more. Kind of.
That's cool. Yeah, like kind of like reaching a bit. I don't know. I feel like I was just reading something today about how this is from like some small indie record or like label guy. He owns a label, and he was just talking about how like people these days like have never cared less about genre. That like listening to top 40 radio, like no one gives a shit if it's like an artist from one genre supposedly collaborating with another genre. Like everyone's happy on both sides that it's a good song or whatever, and then like I think that's bled into even like the deepest, sub like niche kind of fandoms. I feel like people kind of just like they want their bands and their artists to succeed and make cool shit, and they don't care as much maybe if it's like true to them, maybe as much as it was when we were like little fucking snot teens, yeah
and like with this kind of music, and very broad and vague, but that's kind of intentional because there are bands out there that are doing like the straight old school hardcore. Maybe some people that are pushing a little further, like there's a group called like Regional Justice Center who, like, if you're down with old school hardcore, check them out. There's a band out of Tennessee called Third Face, which is more on like the converged spectrum. So like there are bands that are doing like you can tell who they grew up listening to, basically. And that's not a bad thing. Like, if they're doing it good, just get out there and do it.
Totally.
And then a band like Every Time I Die that have been doing this for like 20 plus years, to be able to continuously put out music that still sounds relevant and new and fresh and heavy is awesome. And then like a band like The Armed, bringing in synths and like having synths be the main focus. Amir, I don't know if you know Genghis Tron, but they like when Every Time I Die released their first few albums were the first band I ever heard use like drum machines for hardcore. And they just put out what I would consider a shoegaze record. It's like really chill. So there's like, I mean, I don't even know if they would consider it shoegaze, but it's like just way more chill and like I would listen to it in the morning kind of music. And I don't know. I'm just so excited to be talking about heavy music on this show because like,
I was like worried because it's like I do not only listen to heavy music, but I'm like, I'm gonna come on and talk about a heavy band. My suggestion is a heavy band. I'm gonna come on and speak. Everyone's gonna be like, this guy's fucking a hardcore kid or something. I'm like, kind of, I don't know.
I mean, I've just wanted to talk about it because like I think there's ins to it, and I think it's worthwhile to explore the genre. And like anything, if you don't like one thing, there's probably something that's a little bit closer to what you like. And because like you were talking about like breakdowns, most popular music have some version of a breakdown. It just happens that with hardcore, there's a little bit more yelling and a little bit more like...
If you were one of like the billions of people that were into dubstep for 3 years, then you'll be familiar with what a breakdown is. Like, and it's popular. Everyone fucking loves it. You know? But I mean, Pat, like totally what you're saying too, because part of your, you know, I'm sure excitement to be talking about heavy music is it's like, it's not really something that I know a lot about, and we talk about music a good amount. And I can say, just like seconding what you just said, which is like, there is definitely a way in for like almost everybody, because it's just like a huge spectrum and there's a bunch of different really interesting artists. And it's not like the world of music that I go to naturally, but it like never fails that when somebody I know will like suggest something, it's like there's usually something in there that I like, you know. You can figure it out.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's like a style of music that's overlooked, and it feels like so corny to be like, they don't like my heavy music, whatever. You know what I mean? Like they just don't get it. But I feel like people almost don't want to get it because it's like, oh, that's their shit, whatever, they'll do that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, there is so many different subgenres of heavy music where it's like there's truly something for everybody. Where it's like if you cared to learn about it and find something for yourself, you for sure can. Like even like 100 Gex, it's like that's like a kind of semi heavy band that I'm sure all of your listeners would be into. Where it's just like they're goofy, they're fun, but they're super melodic, but they have these really heavy parts that kind of are like kind of like Warped Tour hardcore kind of sound coming in every now and then. But it's just like, it's really, there's something for everybody, and I feel like not too many people are interested in getting into it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know what got me into heavy music and going to see it. I'm curious. So you said that Every Time I Die, you've seen the most.
Yeah.
What is it about them / seeing them live?
Wow, great question, Pat. No, I'm just kidding. What if I just took that super seriously?
Thanks.
No, I think it's actually how it's like I don't know how, but in my house one day there was just like 8 CDs, like with like burned CDs, and they had like the band's names marked. I do not know where they came from. Truly, it was like them. I think like the Spill Canvas, Atreyu, and like Unearth, like all these, like a mix of all these bands, and I was like, I don't know, I'll listen to it, I guess. And I still to this day don't know where they came from. But yeah, I listened to every time. I was like, and I think it was like the Burial Plot Bidding Wars or something like that. So it was like their very, very first EP. And I was like, this shit's kind of cool. And whatever, I just got super into them. It's like they were the band that kind of stuck out on that whole compilation to me. And then I saw them live and I was like, this is like like you said, like they're kind of like a band that likes to have fun. You could tell. It's like the same way in their shows where they're just like having fun on stage. They're like kind of like commanding the audience in a fun way, where it's like they have like the whole wall of death thing, if you're into if you know what that means or whatever. And it's just like circle pitting, and it's just like they care about the audience having fun, and they're having fun while doing it, which is like, on top of that, I also think because we're comedy guys as well, it's like that's the kind of comedy I like, where it's like you could tell the comedians having fun too, and they're not just like reading scripted shit that they've said 100 times, where it's like or they're just trying to do it the right way because it's like, oh, my coach is in the audience. Like, I want to see the person having fun. Sitting with music, I want to see the band having fun. I want to hear the sounds being fun, and it's like just incorporating the audience and all that. So I think it's a a fun experience, and if you like them, you should go check them out when you can see them.
Yeah. I mean, part of being able to see them so many times too must be their longevity, you know, like, and that they're big enough. Because are they a New York band? Are they from Buffalo? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, you know, they've been touring nationally, I assume, then for years, which is great. Because Amir, where are you from?
South Florida.
So you've seen them in South Florida, I assume.
I've only seen them I haven't seen them. I've lived in New York for like 7 years, and I've seen them more than any other band, and I saw them in Florida. I've never seen them outside of Florida. So that's how much they're touring. They're like one of those bands that are just like constantly touring.
And that rules. I mean, that's one thing too about like this. This is totally random, but it's like I think about hardcore singers all the time. I'm like, I don't know how those guys can do it for so long. Like it is so wild to me that they have like. It's like it's on level with any pro athlete. It's like how does your knee not blow out? How do your vocal cords not get shredded? I don't get it, but it's super impressive to me.
Yeah, that's like me, like being like a teenager. I'm like, I wish I could fucking scream. Damn, that shit would be so sick. I could never do it. It sounds like shit when I do it. Whatever, I'll learn other instruments.
Oh my god, dude. One of the best genres of YouTube videos you can go down is like really like high school, middle schoolers doing like screaming hardcore or screamo songs when they just like really can't nail it. Just like because it's such a visceral part of a song that like you really do have to be able to like crush it or not do it. And it's, you know, like a lot of like whatever pop songs, you can like just sing like an okay version of it and it's bearable, but holy shit, watching like kids fail at screaming is awesome. I recommend it to everybody.
It really is truly, it's almost borderline sad, but it is so funny. Just like these kids are screaming their hearts out and they're having like the time of their life. But the thing that comes with it is like also like that thing we were talking about earlier was like the machismo kind of like thing of like heavy music. So these are like 14-year-old skinny little kids in their in like their bedrooms, like taking themselves serious into the microphone, trying to look like dark. And it's like, this sucks. It sounds bad. You're in your childhood bedroom. This whole thing's not good.
Like, I have no doubt that some of those people will get there, you know, like their voices will change eventually and they'll like, you know, they'll just like learn how to do what they're trying to do. But it's right before they can. It's awesome.
I mean, it's also funny. You can find videos of people on YouTube teaching you how to scream like that. Those are something else.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, you know, I was trying out for a band once, and they were like, "You're in your bedroom."
Yeah, it's like obviously you pitched yourself as a traditional vocalist, but you realized you had to scream 15 minutes before the audition.
Yeah.
So you're like looking up YouTube videos.
They're like, "What's your resume? Oh, you were in a ska band before this? Yeah, sure. That's the right fit."
That rules. Were you in a ska band?
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, no, I was with I think like 12 people and 3 shows, and that I know that we broke up because the drummer got his drum set stolen. So
that's sad.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah, classic tale.
Tales all the time.
Yeah. Damn, dude. So you've seen them like 5 or 6 times. Are you the type of person at a hardcore show? Because I know you like to have fun, but are you like in the mix? Are you in there? Are you fucking going for it? Or are you just are you like hanging back trying to
30-year-old
like,
me, I'm
music?
just vibing. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Teenage me, I'm in the pit. I'm swinging. I'm hardcore dancing. I'm picking up pennies off the ground. All that dumb bullshit.
That sounds right.
30-year-old me, I'm not trying to get hurt.
Can you please, for the crowd, describe what picking up pennies is?
Sure. It's I would say the time to do it is right before that breakdown. They're like really building up. Everyone knows when the breakdown's coming, that's when the pick gets really crazy. But before that, you have this build up moment. And you get real low to the ground, and with your hands, like little crabbies, you go down to the ground, and you're basically, they call it picking up pennies because it looks like you're trying to pick up a penny off the ground and you're moving side to side from left to right. And it's embarrassing. It's like a sad thing. But hey, you're having fun out there, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. I think the majority, if not 100% of dancing to rock music is embarrassing.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if there's a version of it that's like, you feel good about if you saw yourself on tape later.
And
you
I'm
know?
going to go as far as this and say almost all dancing is embarrassing. I think even professional dancing is weird looking. Like when you see people like hitting like the cues perfectly, it like this looks so unnatural and weird. But then you see people who are just like really good normal dancers and like, this is like a little too much for me. I'm like, I don't know. You're committing too hard to this. It's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, and that's why it's nice when you're in a dark room with 200 other strangers that are flinging themselves at you. And you have no control. It's like, well, I didn't have a choice there.
Yeah.
That's why I looked ridiculous.
It was a fight or flight, and I unfortunately fought. And I was just like swinging my arms around, two-stepping like a little prick.
Because I feel like some people are going to look at a room of rock music dancers, I'll call them, and just say, why are they doing this at all? Like, why?
Yeah.
If you can't dance, why dance? You know, and it sounds like you're even the type of person that's going to look at a room full of great dancers and ask yourself, why are they doing this? Sure, they can dance, but is it worth it? Like they look silly, or they look like, I don't know, they look like they're trying to impress someone or something, you know?
It's like what I'm assuming when we're talking about good dancers is like dancing to like smooth hip hop or like
I'm talking about like on the beat coordination, like coordination on a beat, things that move smoothly from one thing to the next, and things that like there's things happening, I would say, in between literally just the just the downbeats, because I think that's something rock music dancers have figured out. They know when a beat is happening.
Sure.
Because they'll like punch at it or something, or
they'll
kick
skank.
It, you know what I mean? Yeah, they'll skank. They'll do a little kick. They'll do a little punch. But if you're doing something between the beats,
Pat's skanking right now,
and it's smooth, Pat is skanking away. I think if you're doing something between the beats and it's fluid, you're probably dancing. Like you're probably decent at dancing.
Yeah, you're you know, and you know what? I'm shitting on it because it's just what I don't like to do. If you like doing it, do your damn thing. I'm there bobbing my head, so I'm having fun my own way. But
I mean, a head bob, that's the traditional dance.
There you go. It's like
that's the rock dance number one.
You're going on the 4/4. You're going with the 2 you're going with all 4 of them. Even 1, 2, 3, 4, baby.
Just gotta count. Make sure they're all there.
I do like sort of in some hardcore stuff that when it's really fast and the timing's weird and people are trying to keep up, kind of. It's like you're trying to do like a head bob, but to like a that shit's funny. And
like when the time signature changes every 3 measures and it's like 4/4, 3/4, 4/4, 16/8. Oh god.
Yeah. Start shaking. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I would say traditional dance music stays pretty consistent.
Yeah. Or on the floor, babe.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but
let's talk about Tiesto now.
Yeah, let's do Tiesto.
Yeah, sure. That's a name I've heard.
So you said, you claim at least, you allegedly you like other kinds of music.
Yeah.
Beyond heavy music. But what I'm curious about, what I'm curious about is, did you have a phase where this like was your live and die music, or have you felt like it's always been kind of an eclectic thing for you? Like, have you always, diversified the music listening?
Sure. I would say definitely as like a teenager, this was my shit to the max.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, like a kid going to Warped Tour and shit like that. I just liked the heavy bands and all that. But as I've gotten older, it's just, I heard an episode, The Warrior, I don't know her name or their name, I'm sorry.
Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren. And I was like, they were talking about how the episode, like that music, you stop caring so much when you get older about like, who cares what like the genres, if it sounds good, it sounds good. And I've definitely leaned harder into that as I've gotten older of like, I would say like, if I heard a genre, I could find a band I like, and I'll seek out a band I like for that genre, stuff like that. I purposely try to diversify what I listen to.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, I think that's like a journey that, many folks take. It's certainly a relatable one, I know to me, and I'm sure to Pat as well. Pat, I don't want to speak for you. Can you chime in and let us know if that's relatable to you?
No, it's absolutely relatable. I think, again, historically, with what I've brought to this show, it would be on one hand the Armed, on the other hand some random Brazilian punk popular music artists I found can't get enough of. Because to me, it's like the same kind of energy. It's just like, yeah, why limit yourself? Why pigeonhole yourself when you can get like, I don't know, fun and enjoyment out of most things?
Yeah. I would have loved for the three of us to run into each other at a Warped Tour, because I was 100% there to see like Simple Plan, and Pat was obviously there to see a ska band, and Amir, you were there to see somebody heavy. And I think we would have all looked at each other and been like, "Whoa, that's a music dude," but we would have not liked each other at all.
Not yet comedy dudes, but it would have been a moment like, there's something here. There's something here.
I distinctly remember, forgive me if this is like a horrible touchstone within any kind of heavy, it's more like emo pop punk heavy, but I remember going to Warped Tour one year and seeing like, trying to go watch From Autumn to Ashes, and truly bailing on them like immediately. Like, I was just like, this sucks ass. And I had heard the thing is like, I had heard the band, so I was like, oh, I'm curious. I don't dislike them as like, I didn't like their albums I thought were okay or whatever, but I just like hated the show and left within like 2 songs probably. But then I probably went and watched some other like truly horrible pop punk and was like, yeah, this is good though. Thanks, Alistair. Shout outs to Alistair if you're listening. You guys are fine.
Alistair, if you're listening, get on the show. Will you get on the show already? Can we get a hashtag going to get Alistair on the show?
I think we could.
Hands up if you know the band Alistair. Listeners, if you're familiar with Alistair, let's tweet at them. I think they probably broke up before Twitter. But let's get them on the show.
Yeah, who knows? Now. Reunion shows, right? Starts here.
Well, their Wikipedia says they're still together. It says Alistair is an American pop punk band, not was.
Oh.
We're gonna get them. I recently like looked up one of their counterparts, label mates from the same era called Homegrown, and it's like truly kind of sweet. I don't know, like you talk about like people aging out or whatever, and this is a pop punk band, right? So they started in their teens and their 20s, and they made like the sugariest like pop punk of the era, and now it's like the dude who has the band handle is just like he's like the lead guitarist singer, and it's like he just records stuff in his house. He has his kid. He posts like videos of his like baby listening to his songs and stuff, and I'm like, this rules. Like it's honestly just like nice to see someone like from a bygone era, and you think, I'm like, oh, that band didn't work out or whatever, and then you're like, whoa, they're cool and happy and seem to like enjoy their life. What a great way to end that story, you know? But without social, like, you know,
Instagram account or something.
Yeah, and you know, like pre Instagram or pre Twitter, it's like I would have just assumed that they all fucking died or something. And like,
oh, you haven't those guys? I guess they work like in a
they're MySpace. Their MySpace is gone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's how you know a band is dead. Yo, Amir, thank you so much for joining us, for sharing
Thanks for having
this song with us. This absolutely was a blast. You got anything to plug?
Yes, I do. I plugged it up top. I'm going to plug it again, baby. I got a podcast called Honey Baby Sweetie Love that I host with Colby Smith. It's fake dating advice and shit like that. We have people come on and they play fictional versions of themselves. And the whole thing's fake. It's really fun and very stupid. If you like comedy and improv and characters and all that shit, it's basically that. Beyond that, you can follow me on Twitter at Amir Khan stuff.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just listened to a couple episodes of the pod, and hilarious, man.
Thank you.
If anyone is out there, especially like recovering improvisers, if you are looking for something truly like playful and stupid and funny and genuinely like improvised, it's great. It really like had me missing, you know, like the live improv thing. So I think that's the biggest endorsement I can give of it. It was
that
great.
rules. Thank you for saying that.
Of course.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
And you can keep up with us at Repeater Show on Twitter and Instagram. We're dropping new eps every couple of weeks. And I guess last but not least, we want to start, you know, this is a pod, and it's like any pod is a platform. That's what Oprah says. And we want to try to do a little bit of good with the pod. So We're asking each of our guests to shout out a cause that we're going to throw a few bucks at, and we want to encourage anyone listening to do the same. So we asked Amir to come up with a great cause to support. And Amir, what cause did you pick this episode?
Bro, I said you could just donate to my Venmo, but
yeah, I said that. Absolutely not, dude. Like you are not worthy.
No, I said the Florida Immigrant Coalition. It is floridaimmigrant.org. They help like immigrants in Florida with
hell yeah
their lives and stuff like that. So I think it's a good little thank you.
Yeah. That's awesome. So please support that organization if you are listening. And again, that's floridaimmigrant.org. Amir, it's been a freaking blast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Pat, you got anything to say to people before we get the heck out of here?
Wow. Just thanks. That was fun. Thank you, Amir, for bringing Every Time I Die so I could wax poetic about a silly, silly band.
I'm glad. And I'm glad no one yelled at you for laughing into the microphone.
Oh, that's all getting cut.
I'm going to yell at you every time you do it in any episode.
Every time you do, it's a bad cover band. Or maybe a good one.
Maybe a good one. You never know. On that note, folks, goodbye. Until next time, hit repeat.
Repeater is hosted by Evan Ford Barden and Patrick Cartelli. Visit us online at repeater.show for live dates, hot music tips, and show archives. Theme music by the Sun Lions. Everything else by Love Nest Productions. Welcome to Repeater.
Dude, hell yes, it's freaking time to pop our little cheeks off. I'm hyped.